Whoa, review number 5. That's so close to 100. Better make it one to remember. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking, and welcome to a very special episode. Why is it special? You'll find out right after you do all that YouTube stuff, like subscribing and hitting the bell. Well, you'll also find out if you just keep watching. You should still do it anyway, though. Without further ado, let's give it everything we've got. This is my review of the 5th generation of Pokemon games. You heard that right. This is a review of the entire 5th generation, so I'll be covering both Black and White, and their sequels, aptly titled Black 2 and White 2. I felt like there weren't enough differences to justify creating 2 separate videos. Plus, it's nice having the episode number mirror the generation number. Released in 2011, Pokémon Black and White brought many new changes to the series. Most of them were welcome. Things like fully animated battle sprites, dynamic music, seasons, infinite use TMs, triple battles, rotation battles, and a host of new Pokemon. Not to mention that speed. It baffles me that Gen 4 and Gen 5 were made on the same console. If you remember, in my video on Oros, I said there was one exception to every game after Generation 3 running at 30 frames per second. That exception? The battles in Generation 5. They run at a crisp 60 frames per second and make the game so much more fun and the battles so much more dynamic. But I said most of these changes were received well. The one that wasn't received very well was the new Pokemon. See, Generation 5 was the first generation to completely cut off access to all previous generations of Pokemon until the story was complete. This heightened focus on the new Pokemon led to many complaints and Gen 5 developing this undeserved reputation of having bad Pokemon designs. Yes, it has Pokemon based on ice cream, gears, and trash, but Generation 1 has a Pokeball Pokemon with the most uninspired evolution. So, in summary, every generation has their weaker Pokemon designs, and it's sadly one of the things that defines Gen 5. Personally, I didn't mind it. I like a lot of Gen 5 Pokemon. Pokemon like LGM, Behem, Litwick, Lampint, Chandelure, Blitzel, Zebstrika, Sandile, Krokorok, Crocodile, Clink Clang, Golett, Golurk, Yamask, Leavanny, Whimsicott, and Lilligant are just some of the Unovan Pokemon I really like that I won't get a chance to go over. Although there are some bad ones like Emboar, Watchog, and Amogus. But overall, it helped Unova stand out from all the other regions. Not that it needed it, Unova is great without the Pokemon. The first region not to be based on an area of Japan, Unova is based on the New York area. Almost every Unovan town and city has at least one defining feature that sets it apart from all the others. Striaton City has the Dream Yard, Nacrene City is built in abandoned warehouses, Castelia City is a giant frickin' metropolis, Nimbasa City is one big theme park, Driftvale City has a drawbridge, Mistralton City has the cargo airport and is home to the best gym leader ever. Icarus City is unpronounceable and buried in snow during the winter, and Opalissa City is drastically different depending on the version. Can you tell Unova is my favorite region yet? Enough gushing about this game's backstory and setting, it's time to jump into the story. And it's at the very beginning of this game where we find the first positive, Professor Juniper. Juniper feels the most involved of all her professor predecessors and sets a particular professor precedent on how they can be more than plot devices to give the protagonist a Pokemon. That was a lot of P's, and I did it first try. Let's go. Right after you meet Juniper, the next positive and first negative are introduced, the protagonists. First, just look at these awesome designs. They're designed to be 16, much older than the standard protagonist, and it really helps them stand out in a great way. However, their names make them stand out in a much worse way. See, the canonical names for these characters are Hilbert and Hilda.
Oh wow. I am disgusted.
Their names in the demos of Black and White were Blair and Whitlia, which are far superior and is what I'll be calling them if it ever comes up again for the rest of my life. No matter which protagonist you pick, you will be accompanied by the smart and serious Charon and the ditzy but determined Bianca. Like every Pokemon game so far, you're gifted a starter Pokemon by the professor, and oh boy, they're a mixed bag, or present box. This time around, you've got the fire type Tepig, the water type Oshawott, and the grass type Snivy. Snivy will stay a pure grass type throughout its life and isn't particularly bad, but isn't the best overall. Tepig will eventually evolve into the third firefighting type starter in a row. I mean, look at this. He should totally be a fire dark type. Although I guess we're still a few generations off from that. And Oshawott. is my favorite starter Pokemon across the entire series. Like Snivy, he'll stay a pure water type forever. I mean, just look at his adorable little face. How can you not love him? Not long after beginning your journey alongside Sharon and Bianca, you will run into the main antagonists of Generation 5, Team Plasma. Team Plasma's goal is to separate people and Pokemon, fighting against the unethical use of animal fighting against each other for the entertainment of people. Yet they're the bad guys. In Black and White, Team Plasma consists of the 7 sages who were supposedly brought together for their intelligence, but I believe it was because of their weird names: Gorm, Baronius, Rude, Zinzalin, Giallo, Ryoku, and Getsis. The ninjas for hire, the Shadow Triad, and the king of Team Plasma, N. While Team Galactic from Generation 4 solely revolved around Cyrus, Team Plasma revolves around 2 people, N and Getsis. As the story progresses, you'll begin to find out who the real leader behind Team Plasma is. Getsis found N abandoned in a forest and raised him, training him to believe it would be for the greater good if Pokemon were separated from people. He then assembled the 7 sages and Team Plasma to serve N's goal, when in reality his goal all along was to take Pokemon away from everyone else so he could rule the world as the only Pokemon user. N is one of the greatest characters introduced in these games, and while Getsis can be a bit too cartoon villain for some people, he's still a very effective and intimidating character. I mean, just listen to his battle music. Just like always, Getsis' plan revolves around summoning the legendary Pokemon of the region. They summon the legendary Dragon of Truth Reshiram in White, and the legendary Dragon of Ideals Zekrom in Black. The reason the legendary on the box art is the opposite of what color it is because it represents which legendary you will catch and use against Team Plasma. But Reshiram and Zekrom aren't the only legendary beings in the Unova region. There's also the Swords of Justice, who live to protect Pokemon from people, their adopted trainee Keldeo, Meloetta, Victini, and Team Plasma's pet project Genesect. Not to mention Kyurem, but while it may feel like it at times, these games aren't all about Team Plasma and legendaries. It's Pokemon, remember? So there's also gym badges to collect. And you know who gives out gym badges? That's right, gym leaders. Take it away, me! You got it, me! We're kicking things off with the tasty triple trouble tag team type trio, Chili, Silent, and Cress. The archaeologist with backbone who hands out the most underwhelming badge ever, Lenora. The premier insect artist who specializes in disgusting gym gimmicks, Berg. The electrifying beauty who paralyzes audiences with her shocking moves, Alisa. The underground boss and probably the only Pokemon trainer to ever care about revival herbs, Clay. The high-flying creator of Sky Battles and my favorite gym leader ever, not just for the reason you're thinking with a gym that will kill you, Skyla. No, seriously, look at this. Actor turned ice-maxed gym leader, Bryson. In Black version only, the Spartan mayor of dragon types, Drayden. Drayden's white version counterpart, the girl who knows the heart of dragons and apparently is very annoying in the anime, making her the second annoying television character named Iris. The Ghost-type Elite Four member and nerdy goth GF that many guys wish they had, Chantal. The Fighting-type Elite Four member with just the biggest pants, Marshall. The Type Elite Four member from a rich family that fell into ruin, Grimsley. The Psychic-type Elite Four member who first appeared in Generation 4 like this is some sort of crossover episode, Caitlyn. And the Wandering Champion of Unova mourning the loss of his first Pokemon who you don't even face after beating the Elite Four, Alder. Not only is Skyla my favorite gym leader, but the whole Unovan Gym League is my favorite overall. I like how they are all important to the plot and have real-world careers that somehow tie into their type specialty. Like the Ground-type specialist being a miner or the Flying-type specialist being a pilot. It makes the world feel more alive and real. And I wasn't lying about not being able to face Alder after you beat the Elite Four, and beats you to the punch and becomes the new champion of Unova right before the climax of the game, which is what I love most about these games. The story of becoming champion is perfectly intertwined with the story of Team Plasma, and they converge at the climax, one of the best climaxes in Pokemon history, as you venture through N's castle with help from most of the gym leaders in one final effort to stop N and Getsis. This is also when Getsis solidifies himself as probably the most evil person in Pokemon. As a result of a series of epic and grandiose battles, I bonded closely with the team I put together, and while I don't love the team as much as I do my Oros teams, they still hold a special place in my heart for causing pure destruction. My team was the pure water-type Samurott, which should come as no surprise, the fast and hard-hitting ground steel-type Excadrill, the even faster and even harder-hitting Darmanitan, the normal-type odd one out on this team of slaughterhouses who proved she belonged time and time again, Chinchino, the bug-electric-type mainstay of competitive teams, Galvantula, Galvantula, and the tank in a field of otherwise glass cannons, Ferrothorn. I'm pretty sure the correct pronunciation is Ferrothorn, but I'm Rayquaza-ing that and never mentioning it again. Webster and Seymour were the only ones I didn't get to connect with in any meaningful ways. Delta was a proven commodity whenever I needed her, Cappuccino always came through when I least expected it, and Pyron was pure destruction from day one. Completing the story of Black and White allows you to catch Pokemon from generations 1 through 4 and grants access to either Black City or White Forest. I feel like I don't need to say which one appears in which game. You are then tasked by Interpol agent Looker to track down the 7 sages who have all gone into hiding. While not the best post-game content, it was still enjoyable. Overall, if it wasn't clear already, Pokémon Black and White are my favorite Pokémon games. I love the look, the setting, the story, the characters, the Pokémon, all of it. The only complaints I can think of are minor nitpicks like the absurd evolution levels for certain Pokémon or obvious sequel baiting. 9 out of 10, easy. And now, the second installment of The Captain's Quarters, here's a brief review of Pokémon Black 2 and White 2. Released a year after the first ones in 2012, the biggest change was that old Pokemon were obtainable from the beginning. You were no longer limited until a certain point. Black 2 and White 2 would also add a few new areas like Aspertia City, Flacessi Town, Verbank City, Lentimus Town, and Humalau City, but I don't remember them nearly as well, or in some cases at all. The biggest positive of the sequels is that it rectifies the egregious mistake of naming the main characters Hilbert and Hilda.
Oh, I think saying that just burned my mouth for some reason.
By naming the protagonists Nate and Rosa. Much better. Although, I don't like their designs nearly as much, so tit for tat. And while Charon and Bianca do make appearances, your main companion in Black 2 and White 2 is Sonic the Hedgehog given human form. Yeah, Team Plasma is still around, but they've been fractured. There's a group of N loyalists that feel remorse over Ghetsis' actions and have dedicated themselves to doing good for Pokemon, while another group called Neo Team Plasma remains loyal to Ghetsis. In both sequels, Ghetsis plans to use the legendary Dragon of Absence, Kyurem, to freeze all of Unova, which leads to the one instance in all of Pokemon where the main antagonist actually makes an effort to kill the protagonist. The legend behind Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem is that they were all once one being that helped two twin brothers create the Unova region. But when the brothers started fighting, the dragon split into two beings, with Kyurem being the hollow remains. In the 2 years between games, there have been some shakeups to the Gym League. Most of them are still the same, but Lenora's place has been taken by Charon, Iris has become the champion, and there are 2 new leaders. So let's bring it home. The bass guitarist who is said to be poisoned on the stage, which doesn't sound like a compliment in any way, Roxy. And the man with the worst tan lines, Marlin. I'd also like to bring attention to Elisa's new look, not because I feel particularly strongly about it, but because of the story behind it. Elisa was worried about maintaining her image and was afraid to change her appearance, but confided in Skyla and went ahead with it. Small things like that will make these characters feel more real and the world more alive. This time around, my team was Samurott again, obviously, the Fighting Steel type Lucario, the Fire type Arcanine, the Electric type Ampharos, the Poison Flying type Crobat, and the Dragon Ground type Flygon. And I'll be honest, I have no memories of this team whatsoever. What I do have memories of, though, is Pokestar Studios. Essentially the Pokemon world's equivalent of Hollywood, because Hollywood and New York are totally close. Pokestar Studios is where you'll find Bryson, having returned to acting. You'll also get to star in certain films with your Pokemon or rental Pokemon, where you'll choose whether you follow the script or just wing it. You'll also get to wear cool outfits and work under such legendary directors like John Pokinter and David Pokench. It's not required or anything, but I love myself some optional side content. Overall, Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 were fun sequels that added enough new content to justify their existence and expanded and concluded the story told in the first one. However, they aren't as memorable to me, so I'll give it a 7. And that's it for our journey through the Unova region until Game Freak decides to remake the games in Generation 10. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe for more videos, and ring the bell so you don't miss an upload, and all that other YouTube stuff that you hear every video you watch. This is your captain speaking, and next time, things get extra dimensional. Hope you bring your 3D glasses, and I hope to see you there.